What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Constance Carter, and this is Fly Nubian Money, where we help you to master your mindset and maximize your what? Come on, ladies.
It's
Money.
monies. It's monies.
Let's go. Let's go. So today, y'all, we're about to talk to you about something that could change your life for us, you, in a big way. So far, your boy, your man's, some people call him the orange guy, the orange puppet. Some people call him 45. Some people call him Elon Musk's sidekick. But I guess he might be the president. He has signed 53 executive orders. But after taking a closer look, we find that there might be 8 out of those 53 that could be especially harmful to who? You. And that's all we really care about, right? We only care about what affects you, Black people. So they're not just words on the paper. They could actually reshape where we work, where we live, and what kind of future we have and we can build for our kids. Now, every major shift in history starts with a government order, civil rights laws, affirmative action, mass incarceration, and other opportunities. And now this. Some of these policies strip away protections. It strips away funding and everything that we've really fought for as a people, that our people have fought for since post-Civil War. If we're not paying attention, y'all, we could actually wake up in a country where Black businesses, schools, and workers are left behind. We got to change the game. So we're going to break it down. We're going to break it all the way down to the very last compound round. I got bars for days, but we're also going to make it interactive. And that's the thing that I want you guys to have fun with. We're going to make this interactive. So after, this is how you guys are going to be able to participate. Okay. And we want you to just put this in the chat. So after each executive order, we're going to rate how dangerous this is to our community from a scale of 1 to 5. Now, 1, it's a small change and it could dismantle everything that we work for. And then 5 is like, okay. No, 1 is not that bad. 5 is horrible. Okay. So we want to play the game. We want you to play with us. You know, this is not just a dialogue. This is not just a monologue. This is a dialogue. So we love for you to talk back to us and talk Black to us as always. Okay. So we love for you to engage with us. Now, first thing we're going to do, let's take a look at this video by Al Jazeera that just and here's the thing, you guys, y'all got to just stop looking at MSNBC. Yeah, we know that's a right-wing news station. You got to stop just looking at Fox News. Hopefully y'all ain't looking at that bullshit, but you kind of do need to look at that just to kind of see what these motherfuckers is really talking about, because they are really people who have tinfoil on their heads. But we really need to look at other news stations just around the world to see what's really going on from an unbiased perspective, or just what's happening globally, right? So let's take a look at this this video so that we can get a little bit of a breakdown.
On his first day in office, Donald Trump signed 26 executive orders. That's not unusual. US presidents issue an average of 67 executive orders every year. AJ Labs looks at what they are and how they are used. An executive order is a directive from the US president to the federal government telling agencies how to operate. This power comes from the Constitution and is one tool presidents use to shape policy without congressional approval. Executive orders have driven significant change throughout history. They've abolished slavery, ended discriminatory policies, and supported peace efforts. But not all uses of this power have been noble. In some cases, the language has been chilling, targeting entire groups. Franklin Roosevelt issued more executive orders than any other president. Thousands. More recently, however, US presidents have issued far fewer executive orders. That's because Congress and the courts have strengthened their checks on presidential power. When Trump took office on January 20th, his first day signing of executive orders set the tone for his administration. Some fulfilled his campaign promises, such as further securing US borders and rewriting immigration rules. Others reshaped federal policies, made new energy plays, redefined social norms, halted a TikTok ban, and reversed Biden-era decisions. He also issued a pardon order for hundreds of people involved in the US Capitol attack in 2021. Executive orders are powerful, but not invincible. Courts can overturn them through legal challenges and may be declared unconstitutional. They can also be revoked by the next administration, as several
Y'all is real serious. And just to give you guys context, let me just tell you, because he said, who did he say signed the most in history? Was that Franklin D. Roosevelt? Is that Roosevelt?
I think it was Roosevelt.
Okay, so I just went
It was like over 3,000.
I just went to my homie chat, but but the reason why they stopped that was because now we have Congress and the courts with their checks and balances. But I did a little just for context. Okay, so Barack Obama, I'm just going through the last 3 presidents, signed 5 in his first month. George W. Bush, he didn't sign any. And then Joe Biden, he signed 25, which was the most in this modern era that had been since Roosevelt. So now, first month coming in the door, first week, 53. He ain't done yet. So before we get to the game and before we kind of break down, and I just, very quickly and concisely, y'all, what did you guys think when, what was your thoughts on like him signing those executive orders? Did he look like a madman to you, or do you think, you know what, he's doing his job as president? Dr. Alicia, we'll start with you.
Thank you. Starting with me. Okay, yeah. So there's a term in a German term called Blitzkrieg, if I can say it in my German accent. And this is a military tactic. It's akin to what's called lightning war. And it's the strategy is that you have this really swift, overwhelming attack. And it's like all of these executive orders all in one day at one time. And it is a warlike strategy at causing disorientation and just causing a bunch of mayhem. And it's done on purpose in a very aggressive way, in a very short time frame. Mm-hmm. And, when we apply this to the context of democracy, this Blitzkrieg signifies this aggressive, rapid dismantling of democratic institutions, norms, state safeguards. All of that is what we're seeing. And so this approach, it's almost like you're attacking what he is seeing as the enemy within, and that it exploits vulnerabilities in the governance system. And what the brilliant part about this is that it's done so quickly, lightning warfare, that the opposing people don't have enough time to respond, and they don't have enough time to kind of pull everything together to have these checks and balances. So it undermines the checks and balance process, and there's no resistance that can be formed yet because it's done so quickly.
Yeah, this was all by design. If you think about it, he's just, I'm just gonna hit you with everything. It's a distraction, but like a lot of this shit ain't even legal, so they haven't even gone through the legal process to say, hey, wait a minute, we can't even do it. Like, what are you doing? But it's strategy. Dr. Lene, what was your thoughts when you seen this maniac? I'm not gonna say a maniac. I don't want to sound biased because I am moderating this panel today, so I'm not gonna promote. No, I am. But y'all too in the audience, what you guys think? Did this man look like a maniac, or did he look like, you know what? He's taking care of us as the president of the United States. Dr. Lene, what you think?
Definitely a maniac, but also a strategic maniac. I think I saw someplace that when he got into office the first time, he didn't know what he was doing. Everything he tried to do, everybody around him was like, no, no, no. Aha. He took 4 years off and he came back. Aha. He was like, we're not doing that again. I'm stripping everything. If you don't agree with me, you out of here. I know what I'm doing when I'm going into office this time. I know what I couldn't get away with last time. I'm about to go in here and kill him. Not literally, but figuratively, like, I got this under control now. So I think he came in ready to play. I think Project 2025 was legit. It was real. People put their head in the sands and acted like it wasn't. And now we're seeing the repercussions of that. He said, I said what I said. This is what we're going to do. And now we're doing it.
And then we FA and FO, didn't we? No. And then you know what? Did you notice, though, that like every time he would say some shit during his campaign, they would go, what he really meant was, what he really meant was what he said the first time, because he's actually doing it now. They was just cleaning up because they didn't want everybody to know. But what do you think about that? All the executive orders that he signed, Marlo, like, did you think that this is a man that's just, he's doing his strategy, like, or do you think this is a maniac on the loose?
Two things can be true at the same time. He is definitely going his own way and doing his own thing. And, it's like Dr. Alicia said, this is all intentional This is not by accident. It's by design. This is the plan. This is the strategy. The congressman that is also the Speaker of the House is my congressman, Mike Johnson, and he has been with a cat, or what is it, not a cat shit, a shit-eating grin on his face, going across the country talking about how aggressively they were going to pursue this plan. Right now, he's in Congress, and Congress hasn't done one thing. They haven't done anything. Donald Trump is doing everything through executive action. So what he meant is Donald Trump is going to move forward with his agenda, and we're going to sit back with our hands off. And it's happening.
And they even blocking the idea of, okay, let's bring Elon Musk in for, did y'all see that? How they were going to bring Elon Musk in for questioning, and that the one Democrat that they needed to vote, he didn't show up. He's actually one of Elon Musk's Silicon Valley friends. So he didn't show up for the voting. And so then they couldn't even get, and then of course all the Republicans voted against it. And then he says, well, I didn't show up because I didn't get the memo that we were supposed to be meeting. If I had showed up, I would have voted to bring him in. You know what Elon Musk's response to that was? Don't be a dick. He told his friend. Yeah. So anyway, just a little side note. He is off the chain. Like, that's why we need Jasmine to be talking, because the decorum is out the window. We need somebody to talk these motherfuckers' language. Moya, what do you think?
Well, to his credit, he has been going around the talk show circuit saying that he would have voted and how bad he thinks of it. But yes, obviously it was all by design, right? Mm-hmm. He's the Silicon Valley crony. He's one of the tech bros. So yes. The thing is, this just sounds, I don't know. It's frustrating, because I remember being here on the podcast being like, everybody, no. And everybody in the comments like, 2025 doesn't exist. He doesn't know anything about it. What are you talking about? You guys are feeding us a crock of baloney. So it's just frustrating to know, like, no, you guys, these people had training videos. They had training videos already ready. They had the 4,000 people where he can immediately turn over. They had them already hired. Everything was already ready. So he's just going through with his plan. So I think he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And he never said he was about to lower groceries and eggs and gas.
Bamboozled. And that's why Yehuda Zion said FBA Trump supporters should be ashamed. But we're going to talk about this game, y'all. We're going to go through the executive order, the top 8 executive orders that we think may affect Black people as soon as we come back from this commercial. Let's check it out.
Woo! It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com. It's a good.
Girl, y'all, we got new commercials. We got with graphics and did sound effects and that. Listen, it's an upgrade with the Fly Nubian Money, y'all. Come on, let's go. That's what I'm talking. She look cute too. All right, let's jump right into it. Dennis Spraggin said this is going to be a magnificent show. I couldn't agree more, because now we're about to hop into it. All right, let's go to the 8 executive orders that affect Black people the most. All right, y'all ready? Okay, so wait. Let's go back. Put me on, coach. Put me in. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. we're gonna rank these executive orders from 1 to 5. Ladies, hold up your number ones. If you think that it doesn't really affect you, hold up your number one. All right, hold up your number one. Oh, come on, look, y'all fancy. Okay, me and Lene, we ain't fancy. Okay, all right, good. All right, okay. Now, if you think it's like about to, the sky is falling, put up your number 5. All right. All right, this is how we play this game. So if it's not really going to affect us. That's 1. If maybe a little bit, so the higher you get to 5, put your number up, and then you in the audience. So just put in the comments 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The sky is falling, and we need to move to Ghana collectively. All right, let's go. So let's go with the first executive order. Ooh, okay. This one is ending DEI programs. This is a direct attack on workplace diversity. So this is how it hurts Black people. Okay. Fewer job opportunities. Without DEI programs, companies and government agencies may revert to hiring practices that historically excluded us. Okay. Loss of business contracts. We know that only 6% of us actually get the federal contracts anyway. So now without DEI, we may lose these opportunities. And then workplace discrimination. So without these efforts, Black workers may face more challenges in career advancement. Okay. Now, so here's a real world example. A Black-owned construction company that previously won federal contracts under supplier diversity rules may now struggle to compete against larger firms with more resources. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 5, y'all, how much does this affect you guys? And for you guys too, put it in the comments. All right. Y'all ready? Hold up your numbers. Oh my God, me and Dr. Lene are twins. So the sky is falling for Dr. Alicia, Marlo, and Moya. So I want to know why Dr. Lene said 3, like I said 3, because we twins.
Because first of all, when you see that number 15%, that ain't nothing. 15%. It was like it was a 30% increase, a 50% increase. It was 15%. A. B. I believe, and I've been doing some reading. So I've been looking at when did DEI start? How far back are we talking? This whole championship for DEI started during the George Floyd situation. So we're only 5, 6, 7, 8 years into this thing. That's 2. 3. I think the next president's going to bring it back. But let's just talk about right here, right now. You don't have to say DEI to actually be a good business and practice DEI. So although I think that they're going to roll back the verbiage and the federally maybe, right? Federally.
Federal. He said you can't even disguise nothing as DEI. Don't even try to say EIE. And
exactly. Federally. But I think in your major corporations, while they're rolling it back, I don't think they're going to roll back. I think that companies understand the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion. You don't have to call it DEI to practice making sure that your staff looks diverse, right? So that's why I think it's a 3. Is it going to be an impact? I think so. I don't think the sky is going to be falling. I think these companies recognize and know this. They have people, diverse people in these organizations. I don't think all of a sudden they're just going to stop doing that. Some may, but not astronomically.
I love that. Okay. For y'all in the audience, because I know Sophia said 5, C. White said 5. I think Armando Wall said 1. Why? We want to know why. Okay, say 1 and then do an explanation of why you think it's only a 1, Armando, or 5, and why you think it's a 5, C. White. So we want to know why you think what you think. All right, Dr. Alicia, let's go. You said the sky is falling. Why is the sky falling, Dr. Alicia?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is a goal. That's the thing with a goal. Do you ever reach a goal? You never accomplish a goal. Mm-hmm. And a goal is always something that you can never get, but you have objectives to help you reach that goal. So I think that in terms of objectives and trying to get the diversity, which is just having a variety of different people from different backgrounds, because evidence shows that the more diversity you have in your institution and organization, the better that institution flows. That's right. Data. Equity means making sure everyone's paid the same, everybody has the same amount of...
Which still ain't even happening, right?
Still not happening, but it is a goal. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the objective. Inclusion is to make sure not only are people, is there diversity? Not only do we know that everyone has quote unquote a seat at the table, but inclusion means your voice matters.
Mm-hmm.
It is a goal. Those are objectives. So yeah, 5.
Okay, that's good. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, Marlo, what about you, girl? What you think? Oh no, you said the sky was falling. Why is the sky falling?
Only because of the contract issue, right? What we know is that Elon Musk and his musketeers are working on some type of algorithm that will determine who is merited to receive these contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on how the merit-based criteria is written is how the meritorious contracts will be awarded. So I think while DEI doesn't affect us to a great extent the way that it does other communities, people with disabilities and white women especially, and other minorities, it is going to impact us in terms of government contracts, right? Because a lot of minority-owned business are proudly minority-owned businesses.
Yeah.
So if you have a minority-owned banner, if you are proudly Black-owned, you will probably be deprioritized in the musketeer algorithm. So that's why I said, although I don't believe DEI affects us greatly, I think that when it comes down to the get down and who is and is not getting these federal contracts specifically, we're not going to talk about private industry, but the federal contracts, I think we're going to see Black-owned companies losing out on the little bit that they are getting.
Yeah. And the bad thing about that, Marlo, is that there's not going to be any data to be able to, check to see, to measure if Black people are getting their fair share of contracts. And that's the horrible thing. Cause yeah, they're probably going to lose them. And then nobody's going to know. Moya, this is why I love you. I'm so glad you guys are on the panel because you guys is so smart. You is so kind, and y'all is so important. Y'all is just brilliant Black women. All right, Moya, what do you think? Why? What? So you said the sky was falling. Why?
So I definitely believe, because one thing, no federal and private do not compare in terms of how much they pay out. When you get a federal contract, you are good. And once they remove that, because the thing that they're looking at is, it's just basically saying, hey, look over here. I remember working at the FDA, and I got to sit in on some meetings where it's called government Section 8A. Like, you can come in and pitch your coming in and pitching. And so I got to see them put together presentations, and we judged off of what we thought who had the best information. So it's just saying, hey, take a look at us. So now they don't even have to take a look at anybody else. So it's basically just saying, I can have my uncle, my cousin, and I can just have them, because we're all sitting around a board, literally, and we're just deciding we're going to go with them. So now you can just include who you want to, and it's so much easier. You don't have to deal with the numbers, like you said, because you don't have to report it.
There's no reporting. That's the thing I think that's for me is going to hurt, is the fact that there's no reporting requirements for that. I just think it's a 3 because it doesn't affect us as a whole because we didn't benefit, but it is going to affect those 6% of people who did actually get the government contracts.
So I know we're looking at the number, but we also have to think of who they also employ. And we also think of their families. And you think of, like, if you bought a house, especially you, Constance, because you live in that community. Yeah. So now we're talking about, more homes going to be going for sale? Yeah. Is that going to reduce the pricing even of your home? So I think it's going to affect more than this percentage. It's a wider swath.
Yeah. Because even when you look at the federal employees that are getting laid off, that's also affecting what's happening locally, like the businesses, and so that what it's like who thought of this? Did he think of this by himself? Because I can't see any economists or any advisor saying that this is really a good idea.
The conglomerate thought of this together. This is again, y'all. This is the great again. The return to when it was great, when we were invisible.
Yeah, but it's hurting them too.
They don't. You don't have that mindset, girl. What's the next question?
They're going to cut off their noses, right? Their face. They don't care.
Okay, let's go to the next one. I'm going to get beat up. Okay. Yeah. Okay, number 2. Merit-based hiring. So that's EO 14173, a smokescreen for cutting affirmative action. How it hurts Black people. This may remove policies that help Black professionals and students overcome systemic barriers in hiring and education. They get limited access to education. Black students may find it harder to gain admission to competitive universities. A Black student from here's a real world example. A Black student from low-income neighborhood who qualified for an affirmative action scholarship may now lose the opportunity, further widening the racial economic education gap. All right, y'all. Okay, so in the comments, all right, in the comments, all right, y'all ready? So what y'all think? The affirmative action. Y'all ready? Okay, so we got 1, 3. So we got 2 4s, 1 3 1 5. I'm gonna just tell you why mine. Go to HBCU, F them PWIs. So that's all I got to say. F them. Let's take our boys out of these sports programs and put them in all in HBCUs, and let's see what they little funky ass institutions do then. All right, Moya, why you say 4?
So the funny thing is, I would have said a 5 if I didn't believe exactly what you said in terms of promoting HBCUs. Like, that's where it's at. The only thing that I battle with is that we have to have a seat at the table. Like Justice Ketanji Brown, but she wouldn't be Supreme Court justice if she didn't go to Harvard, because we have to be overqualified and we need her on the bench. So what do we do?
80% of Black judges came from HBCUs. 80% of Black judges. 55% of Black lawyers.
Marshall. So I'm with it, but I'm just saying we need a seat.
Clarence Thomas got his seat, and he was a EEOC manager. Okay.
All right, let's go to commercial. We're gonna finish this conversation because this is some shit. Commercial. Everybody say cheese. We having some technical difficulties. Go to commercial. I gotta go pee real quick. Go.
It's Gremlin Day in here.
I really do. Please go to commercial.
The Gremlins have taken over the show.
All right. So listen. Okay. So since we're not going to commercial, because I don't.
Hey, it's Dr. Javette, Brand Your Brilliance coach and monetization strategist. I am partnering with the Fly Nubian Money Club to help you turn your natural gifts into big business. I help my clients build 6- and 7-figure businesses by branding their brilliance. You know, that thing that comes easy to you, the thing that you can do with your eyes closed, that thing, that's your brilliance. And now it's your turn. Join me on February 22nd at 10 o'clock a.m. and I'll walk you through strategies that can change your life and business forever. Don't miss this opportunity to brand your brilliance. I'll see you in class.
Let me tell you one thing. Dr. Lene Javette is going to give shoulder, baby, and she's going to give you the game. You hear me? She's going to give you shoulder and the game. You hear me? You know, see, let me tell you something. I can't stand this heifer because she always be coming up in here looking good and stuff. And you know, that's what she make me want to step up my game, but I still not going to. But you make me, you inspire me to step up my game, even though I ain't gonna do it. So listen, this is the Brand Your Brilliance coach, and I just really quick, I just want to tell you about her. She is so dope and amazing. She does her what is it called? Power. What is your power thing called? I'm sorry.
Black Power.
Black Power. She does her Black Power conferences. I've been fortunate enough to speak at her conferences, and they're amazing. This lady is absolutely amazing, and she's brilliant, and that's why she's going to teach you how to become brilliant. So make sure you go to flynubianmoneyclub.com so that you can sign up because this one, she might give you a little shoulder on that day too, y'all. Come on. So, and I know the men's want to see the shoulder. So go on and get on there. Dr. Lene got lotions and creams y'all ain't never heard of, and she smell good. She look like she smell good too. Don't she look like she smell good? She look like she
I do smell good today too.
You used to look like you smell like all kind of white diamonds and shit. But anyway, y'all, who's next? Okay, we did Moya. Okay, let's talk to you, Marlo. What do you think? The affirmative action, you said 3, I remember, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
You said 3? Okay. Why?
I'm with you on the HBCU, so I don't feel like it's a critical mass error in terms of affirmative action and universities. I do, but it's 3 because of the hiring practices at other universities, because I do believe that, you know, for all intents and purposes, we're not going to be able to keep all the Black kids going to the HBCU. Somebody going to want to go to the PWI. And for the babies that just got to go to Florida State, they just got to go to Harvard, they got to go to Nebraska, they got to go wherever they got to go. I feel like there should be someone on that campus that it look like them and offer them support. And I think that, you know, they're not going to get it. They're not going
I feel you. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. That's why you did a 3. Okay. And then I know that Dr. Lene, you did a 4.
I think I did do a 4. And it's just because like when I'm reading it, merit-based hiring, right? So I feel like, so when I'm listening to you guys talk about it though, and you're talking more about education. So the merit could potentially be the school that they went to. But I feel like merit-based hiring, who holds the merit wand? Who gets to decide what the merit is? And that's why I think it becomes more of a sky is falling, because if we're going to make it about education, if I went to Harvard and they went to HBCU, the merit is placed at Harvard, not the HBCU.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a background in technology and I want somebody who comes in to have background in technology and this person doesn't have technology, then they're not going to be hired. Mm-hmm. So we're turning merit over to whoever is hiring. And that's where I think it's going to be a bigger issue, because if one of us aren't sitting at the table, we have a major problem.
Mm-hmm. But that's where that's where the rollback of DEI comes too, because if they're rolling back DEI, then that's already that's where the idea of meritocracy comes in, right? So F them and they employers and F them and they PWIs. That's what I say. But I want to hear what Dr. Alicia got to say, because she said the sky was falling. She said this is everything, even though she went to Tuskegee. Didn't you go to Tuskegee or no? Oh, you went to a PWI? Ooh.
I did. I went to PWI. But you have to understand, I was born and raised in the blackest cities in America. Born in Tuskegee, raised in Gary, Indiana. It don't get blacker than that. So right. I needed to have that exposure to other cultures. Mm-hmm. I needed the exposure to other types of Black people. Okay. In a way, I did need exposure to whiteness. For the first time, I was able to see it. I learned that not all white people were the same, because I sure did think white people was all the same. Only time I saw white people was when I went to the movies, and I was in control of it. And so I had thoughts about, I was segregated. I was divided. Diversity is not just for Black people. Diversity is also for everybody. Mm-hmm. Being around a bunch of diverse individuals lets us celebrate and appreciate diversity. Now, I am speaking from the perspective of a social worker and a mental health therapist. All right. So I'm speaking from that perspective. And so we understand and we study and explore and we challenge to make sure that we are jumping up and down when diverse. So I'm just leave it at 5, because it's probably going to be my answer for everything, because this is a big deal. We weren't doing enough. We were making some progress and it wasn't enough. And we were continuing, charging ahead with speaking truth to power and making sure that every place is inclusive of everybody. And we built this country, so we have a right to be in there too.
Yeah.
It's everything. So there we go.
Thank you. And I still say, F them. Go to a HBCU. That's where I'm going to stay. Somebody says something in the comments that I can't remember. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to Dr. Lene, who just got into a PWI in a program. What program did you get into, Dr. Lene?
It's a program at Cornell. So I have a girlfriend who did a entrepreneurship program at Harvard, and I was so not jealous, envious.
Okay.
And so when I saw this program at Cornell come up, I was like, well, let me just apply. Let me just see. Right. And I got in. So it was a 12-week accelerator on entrepreneurship for women. And I started in March. So I'm pretty geeked.
Let's go. Give it up for Black excellence. That's right. Yay. Congratulations, lady. Somebody said that, people will go wherever the scholarships go. And that's my son said, well, what if I get a scholarship at UCLA? Then you'll get a scholarship at Howard too. You're going to Howard. Your Black ass going to Howard. So anyway, let's go to number 3. EO 14174, revocation of COVID-19 workers' protections, making Black people workers more vulnerable. So y'all, we're gonna have to go a little bit faster, because we got 5 more to get through, and we've got 20 minutes left. Okay. So how this hurts Black Americans. Black communities were disproportionately affected by COVID-19. Removing protections puts frontline Black workers at greater risk. Job losses. Without workplace safety rules, Black workers in government jobs could face terminations or unsafe work conditions. A real world example is a Black healthcare worker who relied on a paid COVID sick leave could now be forced to work while sick or risk losing their job. All right. How it affects Black folks. All right, y'all. In the comments, 1 is meh, meh. 5 is the sky is falling. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna agree with you, Dr. Lene, and you, Moya. For me, I'm just thinking like ain't nobody really doing the COVID shit anyway. So
yeah, and it affects everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So say why, Dr. Lene?
I said it affects everybody. Like it's not targeted at Black people. I don't think that this is a Black target. This is just saying you got to come back to work, and if you get sick, then you deal with it. Like it's like the flu at this point. COVID is the flu, so it's not that big a deal.
Okay, Marlo, you said 3.
3 only because it really is going to affect people that deal with that long COVID stuff more than anything, right? It's going to affect the people who have long-term ramifications. We have somebody that works here with me who is constantly in and out of the hospital because they have long COVID. So for somebody like that, like Dr. Lene said, this is a everybody kind of thing. But what's the saying when, America gets a cold, Black people get the flu?
That's why it's a 3 for you.
So that's why it's a bigger deal, because it will disproportionately affect, like with all the other protections gone, right? And you have this health issue that is of no control that you have, you're going to be SOL.
Shit out of luck, y'all. I love the way you just did that abbreviation. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Shit out of luck, y'all. No, I'm kidding. All right. We got to get through this. 45, 60 seconds, Moya. What do you think?
I agree with everybody else. I think it's like it affects. Yeah, it in terms of what Dr. Lene was saying, in the sense of it just affects everybody, and Marlo also hinted to this. It just affects everybody. So
it doesn't specifically affect Black people. Where this,
and it's just saying, go back to work. You have to go back to the office.
Take your ass back to work.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Alicia, the way you over there with the faces, girl, she said, I'm just going to leave it to 5 because all of this is a 5 for me. Why is this a 5 for you, darling?
Disproportionately affecting Black people. And I think that it's a cumulative. I mean, think about it. It's like, okay, you're struggling to try to get a job and you have to break through a lot of barriers. We know that the month that Kamala Harris lost her election, there were like the lowest rates of Black female employment hires that month. I saw that somewhere and I checked it and it was true. So I think there's a spillover cumulative effects that all of this is going to have, not only on our physical health, but on our mental health, on economics. All of that is going to be balled together. I'm not certain I know the answer to this, but I think other people have kind of talked about how it can disproportionately affect as Black people. The rest of the world gets a cold, we get pneumonia. That is why it's going to be a 5. I'm just going to, spoiler alert, it's 5 for me all the way through. I'm not even erasing it.
Okay. Good stuff. So, all right, let's go to the next one. I ain't gonna expound on it. Let's get it. So number 4, 14156, national energy emergency. But going back to the COVID, let me ask you guys this, because maybe I'm not educated on it. Were they getting federal funds? Were they getting like what do you call it, family leave, like FMLA for COVID, or is this only for government employees, or is this for all the COVID protections? Was that
the COVID protections? When I read it, Biden signed it for everybody. It was a Biden executive order that he is overturning. And it really is a veiled go back to work order, right? That's really what it is.
Government employees or private?
For remote, well, it kills the protections for everybody because it wasn't a federal, or it was a everybody blanket mandate. It wasn't specifically federal. So it's just one of those things where, it's a go back to work order, but people will be disproportionately affected.
Got it. Okay. So national emergency, more pollution in the air, how it's going to affect Black people. Many Black neighborhoods are near industrial zones. Did you guys know that? A lot of, after the Civil War, we had lots of communities across the country, and they did things like urban renewal, where they displaced us and they put us in areas that were closer to toxic sites where the cancer rates are higher. When they took us out of these neighborhoods and they put us in these projects, and the projects are in these areas where where we are more affected with a lot of the environmental issues. So if deregulation happens, it'll lead to price increases. Black households, not just environmental, right? So now we have health risks, but we also have increased prices. Y'all, okay, so I'm from California. Y'all, our PG&E bill used to be like $50. Now it's like $900 to have, for your energy bill to be more than your car payment is crazy. But they're gonna struggle. So they're already struggling to afford. I'm already giving y'all my opinion, but they're already struggling to afford, electric and gas. And now there's no regulation on that is just crazy. So a real world example is a Black family in Louisiana already living near a refinery could face worsening air quality, leading to asthma and other health issues. And then, like I said, when you got a goddamn electric bill that's more than your car note, or it's crazy. So I'm not for deregulation, and that's for everybody. I think it's just bad for everybody. So I'm gonna give it a 5. What about y'all? What y'all think in the comments? I'm gonna give it a 5. All right, let's go. I definitely want to hear from Moya. Why is it a 4 for you?
Because I feel like while it's an extremely important issue in terms of Black people are going to be living uncomfortably on two sides, your health and your wealth will be affected. Mm-hmm. I do believe there's issues that are way more important. Like if we had to prioritize our issues in terms of what do we need to do right now we need access to jobs. So that's my biggest thing. So if I had to prioritize it, that's why this is a 4.
Okay. So you're just saying that it's important. It's just not the most important on the list for you out of 8.
Yes.
Okay, that's not how we was doing this, but yeah, that's fine. Just kidding. I'm just messing. All right, we're gonna go with Marlo. My mama is blowing my ass up right now, y'all. That's why I keep looking down at my phone. But anyway, Marlo, go ahead. What you said?
Yeah.
5.
Y'all know I'm from Louisiana. Somebody just mentioned in the comments. Cancer Alley is a South Louisiana corridor that goes from New Orleans to Baton Rouge. There are so many. It is a Black majority congressional district, and those people are suffering. So while I agree with what Moya said about it isn't the most important, if I can't get up to go support my family, if I can't breathe, if my kids are living in a toxic environment, it's hard for them to learn. That is a big issue. For people, and it happens all over the country. But look up Cancer Alley. It's been going on for a really, really long time, and those people have been fighting for environmental justice. And now we in this deregulation, and they are not going to get much relief at all.
That just pisses me off to the highest passivity because of how they placed us in these places and spaces, which really pisses me off. So for you guys who are just tuning in, Melissa said, "What y'all playing?" So we're going through all the executive orders. And what we did is we said, we want to just make this, we want to break it down. What are the top, out of the 53 executive orders, what are the top 8 that really affect us as Black people, kind of disproportionately affect us as Black people, and how important from a scale of 1 to 5. And that's why you see the numbers in the comment, in the chat. And that's why you see us holding up our numbers. Like 1 is, kind of, but 5, this is like the sky is falling type situation. And so we're going over the top 8. And these are all what we're saying are the top 8 things that affect us directly as Black folks. So that's what we doing. And, we got brilliant minds here that actually come from different perspectives and different parts of the world. So it's good to get all of these different perspectives. It's really great. So Dr. Alicia, she said, I'm keeping mine on 5. So 5.
Why? Look up the DuPont dumping sites in Chicago, where those paint companies were dumping all of those toxic chemicals into the soil. I went to a presentation with a nurse that talked about that. Remember transparencies? She used the transparency to, talk about it. So she had a map of Chicago, and then she had on the map of Chicago, she overlaid the DuPont dumping sites where they were in Chicago. Then she overlaid race and ethnicity, and boom, would you believe African-American and Latino populations
surprise.
Where they lived. And then over that, she had cancer rates. Boom. She had birth defects. Boom. She had all of these things on top, and it was a perfect sync. It is a 5.
It is completely despicable.
But so this is my thing though. If we had access to more money and more income, wouldn't we be able to just move? Like, isn't that the biggest thing here? Is that we need access to more
we're not saying
money and upward
ranks,
mobility.
We're not saying what ranks highest on the list. We're just saying, you know, on a scale of 1 to 5, is this a 5 or is this a 1? We're not saying this is number 1 and this is number 2. We're just saying on a scale of 1 to 5, how important is this to you personally?
So in terms of deregulation, just think about fracking, right? There are people who have private land, and fracking is causing issues there where the government is going in eminent domain, digging in people's lands. And there are places in West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, where people can set their water on fire. So when you talk about deregulation, right, we are talking about things that will immediately impact our health, immediately impact our well-being, immediately affect our ability to go out and earn a living and earn money. So I think that this deregulation, everybody, no matter what pocket of the country you live in, you should be a little bit concerned. Whatever they produce in your area of the country could end up in your soil and end up in your water.
Ooh, come on.
No, I'm from Gary, Indiana. We had the steel mills and it was toxic to our air. Listen, maybe we need a part 2 because there's so much to talk about. There's so much information and knowledge out there that needs to be had. I don't want to rush through these. I would rather have us dig in deeper into these topics, but I don't know. I'm passionate about it. And so maybe I need to just button it up.
No, I mean, this is good. This is great dialogue. So we go, you know, if our producer has to drop off, because I know she got to go, she may have to leave. So we may have to, and then there might be a hard stop for some people. So, you know, we may not be able to go past 1, but we got to run through these. All right. So Dr. Lene, you said 5, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it really simple. Flint, Michigan, any Flint, Michigan, DuPont, whatever you want, who name anything. And that's what we have with regulation. So this is what we got with regulation. Imagine what it will be without it.
Oh my God. Oh, you could just drop the mic right there. You said, look, it's fucked up with regulation.
I don't like what Anonymous is talking about. I don't care about Latinas.
I saw that. Listen, let me tell you something. You know what?
This is a stupid mentality of people. I'm sorry. I'm out of turn for.
You got to stop.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
Right. No, but that's their thinking. We don't think like that. Like what you think of the least of these is also what you do unto yourself. So you got to stop. Don't do that, Anonymous. But you know, you the dust of the day. So anyway, we're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna come right back. Por favor.
I know you're busy. You got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
Yo, she got the sound effects. I love that. I gotta steal that. Okay, so let's go to the next executive order. We're gonna just try to get through as many of these that we can. But here's what I know: we have a lot of passionate women on here, and we got a lot of great information. And when you have these brilliant, smart women, and you talking about such critical things to our communities, it is hard to contain in a 1-hour show. I get it. All right, so this is one that I think is important. EO 14157, expanding law enforcement against cartels. more over policing. So how does this affect Black people? Well, there's going to be more racial profiling, right? So they're bringing back stop and frisk. They're going to be disproportionately targeting Black neighborhoods, leading to more police interactions and arrests. Now, we know for a fact that Black people don't commit most of the crimes, but Black people are arrested most of the time. Ooh, bars. And then mass incarceration. So tougher sentencing laws could worsen. And this is all by design, y'all. They are trying to get more free slavery from you Black people. They're trying to, so real world example, a Black man in a high crime neighborhood may face more random searches or wrongfully accused of trafficking under expanded enforcement. And then they're getting immunity for these atrocities. Y'all, listen, back after the emancipation and after the Civil War, when slavery went away, they said, okay, well, you know what? The only way we're going to still be able to get this free labor is through indentured servitude or prisons, right? So then they start coming up with these Black codes. Y'all know what Black codes are, right? That's when they started criminalizing Black people for doing things like loitering. I'm sitting out in front of a store and I don't want you out there, or making up things. Oh, there's this pandemic or this epidemic of Black men raping white women and all of those things. So then now we're in prison, they're in prison for the rest of their lives. So we've been criminalized since after their free labor left, so that they can continue to get this free labor or to build wealth off of the backs of Black people. And so I think for me, what y'all think in the comments? Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? What y'all say? Okay, we're unanimous. What y'all say in the comments? I'm interested in seeing. I don't see no. Okay, 5, 5, 5, 5. Anybody think it's less than a 5? All right, Dr. Lene. Why is it a 5, hon?
I think it goes without saying. Like it's in the text. Over policing. Like, enough said. Again, this is what we have with it. Now you're gonna remove it. It's gonna be escalated. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? I know we got to. She said just one person answer, but anybody got anything pressing that they want to say about this? All right. Okay, we're gonna go to the next one. All right. So, let's go to the next one, which is border security crackdown, impact on Black immigrants. How it hurts Black people. Stricter immigration enforcement could affect Black immigrants from Africa and Caribbean. Harder path to citizenship. A real world example, a Haitian who are the ones that are eating the cats and the dogs. They may be an asylum seeker working in the U.S. for years. They may now face deportation, separating them from their family and their job. So is this affecting Black people? What y'all say in the comments? What are y'all saying in the comments? Is this affecting Black people? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? What y'all say, ladies? What you guys say in the comments? Oh, okay. I got to go through all y'all. I got to see why this is the number one for me, because I don't really think it's affecting Black people, but because we ain't illegal immigrants. I know it's affecting Africans and people in the diaspora, but does it affect us? No. Dr. Lene, you said it was a 5.
I gave it a 3.
Oh, you gave it a 3. Okay. Why you gave it a 3?
Because I don't think it's going to be any more or less. So I'm kind of impartial, right? I don't think it's going to be more or less. I'm focused on immigrant, right? If you're an immigrant and you do the stuff like you're supposed to do properly and right, it should be like right. If you do it illegally, then it's illegal. It's either going to be legal or illegal.
Then why is it a 3? It should be a 1. You should be with me.
I went in the middle of the road. You are still Black. So I'm going to give you a little bit of credence because you are still Black. So that adds a little bit of something to it.
Okay. A 2 then. Change it to 2. Change it to 2. And then for y'all in the comments, I see you guys got numbers, but you're not saying why. So remember, put your number in the comments and say why. Let's go with Dr. Alicia, because okay, she stayed 5. Okay, you 5. What? Why 5, Dr. Alicia? You're muted, babe.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, it's still a profile. It's still another way of profiling Black people. It's an anti-Blackness legislation in my mind. So, and it's harmful for Black immigrants in particular, of course. And so I think, here's the thing, when we set up these ICE centers, we really thinking, oh, we don't need to worry about that because that's all for Latinos and we don't need to worry about that. But you have to understand that they set those centers up, and as soon as the so-called Latinos, because there's a lot of illegal immigrants from European countries, by the way. I do live in Chicago. I do know a lot of Eastern Europeans who did a lot of stuff, housework and stuff like that around the house that did not have their papers, by the way. So rhetoric, don't get me started. But you think they're going to set those things up and just have Latinos? As soon as the Latinos are gone, you don't think your Black butt is next?
That's right. So when Anonymous says stuff like that, it's like, yo, the same grave you digging for somebody else, or somebody is digging that grave for your ass.
Digging that grave for you. So I think that injustice in one place is going to be injustice everywhere. And I think that if we turn our backs against all of these things that are happening, we're going to end up being put into there. And then we're going to not have anybody that's going to even speak up for us. So I think we need to speak up for each other. I don't care who you are. If you could be white. I'm not advocating for us to go and discriminate against anybody, because we know what it's like when it's done to us and we don't like it. Right. So why would we turn around and do it to other people?
That's right. All right, real quick. Does anybody got a heart out?
Oh, no.
You do, Moya? You got a heart out? Okay. I want you to answer that question.
So the thing is, I feel like it affects us just because I live in California.
What's your number?
5.
Oh, you did a 5. Okay.
Yeah. So it affects us because we live in California. So we're having talks with our kids about if ICE stops you, how do you even answer the questions that they're presenting to you? We're asking questions like today they did a walkout at the high school and then at the middle school. So we have to have questions about what does it mean to be in solidarity, but still be in class. Like, this is really going to be affecting us in more ways than we even think about. Not
cool. Yeah. Did you want to go ahead and bounce out and say bye to everybody? Because I know you got to go.
Yes. So, I feel like all of these are very, very important. I'm so glad Tiara did this very fun game. And if you guys ever had any questions in terms of taxes, scholarships, you can always reach me at moya.business on Instagram or the website moya.tax.
Yay. Bye, Moya. See you later, alligator. Okay, y'all. Okay, so Marlo, would you give it a 3?
I gave it a 3 because Marco Rubio went to Ecuador. I think El Salvador, I'm sorry. The El Salvadorian president was saying how great his jails are. Donald Trump loves the jails. You can send your immigrants. Then he says, you can send your citizens who committed crimes. And Marco Rubio never pushed back against that. So I think while it may seem far-fetched to many minds, we do have to remember that it wasn't a long time ago that our grandparents, great-grandparents had to have some kind of proof of who they were and why they were meandering about the town. So I think that just in terms of who this country is, who this country has been to us, it is just a little bit alarming that the sitting Secretary of State didn't push back and say, hey, we got our own jails for our citizens, right? We don't have to send our citizens to El Salvador. We could just send the illegals. And so because he went along with that play, I'm just like, they're not playing by any set of rules. So that's why it's not super alarming, but yeah, I'm watching them.
That's why Dr. Lisa said 5 on everything, because they're not playing by any sets of rules. 5 on everything, because we don't know what they about to do. Yeah, that's interesting. And you know what's crazy is that in Puerto Rico, because they're a American, I don't want to say colony, but they're part of America. But do you know that they are deporting the Dominicans from Puerto Rico? The ICE is out in Puerto Rico deporting the Dominicans, and they all really look the same, right? And you feel kind of sorry for them because they're like, Poppy, he didn't do nothing wrong. But then you think about what happened on the island of Dominica with the Haitians and the Dominicans and how they discriminated against the darker skin, so it's like, you feel kind of bad, but are the chickens coming home to roost? You had something to say? Oh, Dr. Alicia, did you have anything to say on that or no? Okay, we're going to go to the next one. I just thought you didn't want to say something. Okay. All right. Okay. So the next one is cutting foreign aid. Struggling Black nations get left behind. How it hurts. Many Black immigrants send money home to relatives in countries that rely on U.S. aid. Cutting that aid would worsen the poverty abroad. So countries like Haiti and Nigeria depend on U.S. assistance after hurricanes, earthquakes, or droughts. So a real world example, a Black American who regularly sends money to their family in Jamaica could now struggle to support them as financial aid to the country decreases. I don't know how that would, why would she struggle to send them money? Why, does it mess up their infrastructure or something? I don't know why that would affect the lady over here that's sending money over there. I understand why it affects them, but for y'all, okay. So for everybody in the chat, what do you guys think? Cutting foreign aid, struggling Black nations get left behind. What do you think about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Okay, hold on. Struggling foreign aid. Okay, I know. This is my first 2. Okay, wait. What you got? What you got, Dr.? You got 1, 2. Y'all don't think this is okay? Oh, I gotta know why. You're 2, 2, 1, and 5. Okay, I already know. The sky's falling with you, Dr. Alicia. I'm gonna go last with you, but I want to see Marlo. No. Dr. Lene, why a 2?
Because we got real problems here in America. Can we worry about the Black people that live here? Right here in our own country. We always worried about what's happening somewhere else. We got to save everybody else, but we ain't even trying to save the people that live here. So if we're not talking about what's happening here in America with the Black folks here,
you ain't trying to hear. And she gave a 2 on that. She ain't even get 1. She gave 2. Okay, let's Marlo. You said 1. You said, you know what? Get somebody else to do it.
Get somebody else to do it, because foreign aid is a colonizer fix, right? They have gone through and they have disrupted these countries. They have destabilized these countries' economies. They have plundered and stolen their resources. This is them trying to do a solid to people that they already effed over. So while I understand the importance of it, I am definitely with Dr. Lene. Help the Black people here. The Black children here need reading programs. The Black children here need food programs. Help them. I'm not saying everybody don't need the aid. I'm just saying if we got funds to send over there, we got funds to keep over here, and then we can let nonprofit organizations do what it is that they're
supposed to be doing. I love that. You know, I say take your white hands off these other countries that are ruining and disrupting these countries, and then they can prosper. If y'all take y'all white asses out, y'all colonizing asses out of these countries, they wouldn't be destabilized. And so they can take care of themselves. You allow Africa to have their own natural resources. The reason why Haiti is in shambles is because of Europe, the Western world.
The trade embargo is the trade embargo.
Yes, take that off. We don't need your aid. Take the trade embargo off, and then allow these people to prosper. That's what I say. But for Dr. Alicia, she said no. The sky is falling. Why?
I'm not playing this game correctly. I got 5 on it. I got 5
on it. Got 5 on everything, man.
I ain't playing correctly because, listen, I have been following what's been going on in Sudan. There have been recently, this is just recently, there have been millions of people who have been murdered in Sudan, by the way. But recently there was 800,000 Sudanese murdered, million displaced. I just
what, and the federal government is helping in what way though? They still dying.
To provide and try to provide some aid to those people. There's some really good-hearted people that provide aid. To me, my allegiance is not necessarily, I mean, I could be a nationalist, but my allegiance is to all Black people. And if any Black person in this world that has to suffer because I have ties to them, I feel like I am, it has an impact on me. Anything that happens I live in a community that I don't live in, and it's something bad that's happening to another Black person or a group of Black people or all of that, it has an effect on me.
Yeah.
And so because I'm closely tied to it by blood, DNA. And so I don't want to see that. And so It is. I'm not answering. I'm not playing along correctly, and I do understand that. But these are things that made
lead with your compassion.
Become a social worker. That's why I wanted to become a social worker. I'm more fired up than ever. Thank you, Trump, for at least doing that, because I just have like this ability. You know, I'm a Fulbright scholar. I've gone to other countries. I understand the importance of just sharing and just attached at the hip with all other dark-skinned individuals. And I don't care where the slave ship happened to drop you off, right. The Caribbean, South America, all of that. I'm attached at the hip with them. And so I just feel like it is injustice, not just for this country. So it's an injustice against all African people of African descent. And that's where I am. So,
well, if they take their white colonizing hands off of them, maybe they could prosper. What was you going to say, Marlo?
That's all. That's it. They just meddling. Get out of there.
Yeah, get out of there. And then maybe they could do something. But you know, it's kind of like, you know, it's like, what's that lady who was poisoning her baby? She was poisoning her daughter, and then she was like, you know, you go poison her, but then she's sick because you're poisoning her, lady. Like, stop poisoning these people and then try to put a Band-Aid on to fix them.
And
just get deranged.
And don't forget, we always choose their leadership, and we always choose wrong.
And the coup, you know, the CIA and their coups and all the stuff that they do to set up these people in these places so that they can make sure that their hands are, just leave them alone. Focus on the United States, and you can still focus on your own national security and focus on the people here. That would be awesome. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the last and final one, y'all. This might be the grand finale. Y'all ready? Let me see what it is. Oh, it might not be. All right, let's go. The U.S. withdrawal from the United Nations. Oh, God. That's kind of big. Less global protection for Black people. I think it's okay. The U.S. is stepping back from international human rights groups means fewer efforts to combat anti-Black discrimination worldwide. I don't think there was no anti-Black discrimination protection from the United States, but that's just my opinion. Okay, less global pressure on racial justice issues. When incidents of police brutality happen in the U.S., international organizations like the UN have pressured the government for accountability. Without that, the domestic racial justice efforts lose leverage. So, in real world example, when George Floyd was killed, the UN Human Rights Council condemned the U.S. for racial violence. Without U.S. involvement, similar cases may not receive international attention. Meh. I don't know that really affects that. Like for me, but anyway, I'm sorry. Let me not get ahead of myself. For y'all in the comments. So, what do you guys think? 1 or 5? The UN. The U.S. backing out of the UN. What are you guys thinking in the comments? I gotta think about this. Like, okay, so how does the UN? So I do believe. So okay, I'll start with me. I do believe. Okay, I'll say 4 for me. I do believe that it'll affect, but for everybody. But I don't think there's any anti-Black protection that we have, that the U.S. has for. So I don't think that reason is the reason for us to be concerned. I think as we travel globally, there are no protections for us, period, right? Because they're going to say, oh, you're American, and there may be retaliation against us just because we're American. It don't matter that, you know. So I don't think there's anti-Black protections out there globally. But what are you guys' thoughts? I said 4 for me. What y'all? Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Dr. Alicia? 5, 2, 2, 4, and Alicia, go on and put the board up.
Somehow I just feel like it's gonna affect us. We're just not gonna have. We just don't know the unknown. I don't know. It's probably not a 5, but that's what I'm gonna put.
Okay.
And I made mine a 2 because I have a friend who spoke in 2 years at the UN before their Human Rights Council about the jailing processes in the United States. And there's been no change other than my man has gotten 2 trips to Switzerland and made some international connections. The state of Louisiana has actually gone backward in our prison reform. So that's why I gave it a 2, because in theory, the UN is a great thing, but they gonna sanction the U.S. and do what? They just gonna say y'all was bad, slap on the wrist. There is no nothing that the UN can do to the US because
Right.
the US created the UN. So there is, it's just,
We come to everybody else's aid. They come to us. Like with social media, we can broadcast what's happening here.
Right. We don't need the
So,
UN to say, hey.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Mhm.
But I didn't think about it from the perspective that you said, right? If you think about when we travel abroad, if they already know that there's no protection here, how they treat us in their country, if we get locked up, if something happens, right? They know that there's no real protection. They don't even like you in your own country. They're not going to try to get you back or try to help you or save you. So there might be some of that. But overall, again, we're talking about impact 1 to 5. That's why I gave it a 2.
Yeah. So, and that will be for the people who kind of travel globally. I would say the only impact, but as far as like, oh, are we gonna, is this gonna help us in some way because the UN spoke up against the United States? Like, no, that ain't doing nothing. And then just like you said, social media, like everybody gonna find out via social media. The UN saying something and having a hard, worded letter about whatever happens over here, it ain't gonna do shit. So, but this was good, y'all. This was really fun. Tiara, shout out to Tiara, our producer, our dope ass producer.
She's so creative.
Yeah, this was a great game and this was fun. And it was very informative because it's like, okay, this is how we can get through this and then just kind of really understand and learn what really affects us, because that's the most important thing. Today on my podcast, I was talking about how the rollback of the CFPB hurts Black people, because for me, this was my wheelhouse, because predatory lending and all the things that have happened, over the course of years, we've been disproportionately affected by that. I would have said 555 across the board if we would have brought that one up, because that one for me is most important, because that's hurting our wealth aspirations. So that rollback, that executive order to remove the CFPB, you guys need to look into it. And if you don't know anything about it, I talked about it a little bit earlier. Just watch, what I was talking about earlier. But it's definitely going to hurt us financially. And at the end of the day, it is about black and white, because the powers that be, but it's also about the green. So we know money talks and bullshit walks in this country. I want to give you guys an opportunity. And I'll start with you, Dr. Alicia, to give your final thoughts on this entire conundrum of stuff. What do you think?
Okay, look. Y'all look up a lady. She's a psychologist. Her name is Lori Weiner. And she wrote an entire piece that I read. I thought it was so fascinating on the parallels between Hitler and Donald Trump. And she studied Hitler. It took Hitler 57 days to collapse the institution of democracy in Germany. And when she wrote that piece years ago, everyone talked about, well, this is America, this ain't Germany. We have checks and balances. There's going to be resistance. There's going to be people who's going to slow him down. But it looks like nobody is slowing him down. He's moving faster than most people think he has. And there's been discussions on how bad it's going to get and how quickly these things have been happening. And I just want to say something about foreign aid. Less than 1% of our federal budget is allocated to foreign aid programs, humanitarian assistance, economic development, security, support abroad, all of this stuff. So there's so much misconceptions, and we need to get away from rhetoric. And we really need to just, critical thinking skills is so important for you to learn and try to take information and try to deconstruct what's really happening, what's the source of the information. Maybe we need to do a show on just how to critically look at information and then draw your conclusions from that, because I feel like I'm speaking to people and then these are facts. I can't make these facts up. And then people walk away from the conversation still thinking, oh, well, immigrants are going to kill us. No, that is not it. Where are you getting this from? It's to me, it's just we need to have a campaign against ignorance. That's it.
Well, where can they find you, Dr. Alicia? How do they get in contact with you, Dr. Alicia? Well, why are you thinking about this, Dr. Alicia?
I'm thinking about how to get in contact with me, but what I really want to talk about is come to the Black Love Weekend. It's this weekend. Y'all should come to it. Okay, take a break from politics.
Is my man gonna be there?
Huh?
any single man gonna be in the house.
But you know what? If you come, Constance, you're gonna be ready. When you see him, you're gonna be like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that looks like. You're gonna know what healthy relationship looks like, and you're gonna know what the red flags are and why.
Okay.
And it ain't going to be from an armchair therapist. It's going to be a whole host of people. Joe Corley's going to be there.
Okay.
And Felice, y'all know Felice. Felice is going to be there and all that great stuff. So join me this weekend and goodbye, everybody. I feel like we have to see the seriousness of this. We have to know that what was already in place wasn't enough. And now it really ain't going to be enough. So always pushing forward.
Yeah. And thank you, Dr. Alicia. Dr. Lene, what is your thoughts?
My thoughts are buy Black, stay Black, focus on Black. I think we call it B1. I mean, I think if ever there is a season or a time for B1, it is now. Everything we do, every thought we have, every place we buy, every group, every community that we're in, every friendship that we have, every place that we travel, all things, every conscious thought needs to be made with how does this affect the community? How does this affect my kids? How does this affect my business? How does this affect my career path? We need to be thinking about wealth. We need to be thinking about legacy generation because we say it all the time, no one's coming to save us, right? We have to make it through these next 4 years. I don't know what's going to happen after these next 4 years, but I definitely know we have to make it through these next 4 years. I think that everybody needs to have some type of a way. Dr. Boyce used to call it FU money. You need some of that right now. With everything that's being stripped back and rolled back, we need to be more diligent in making sure that we have the tools, the resources, and the financials to be able to take care of ourselves. And so whatever that looks like for you and your family, whether that's savings, whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that's a business, whether that's building a bunker under your house, stocking up on food, I don't know what it is, but just be ready, be prepared. We don't know what's going to happen, but the writing is on the wall. So that's not to be doom and gloom. That's just to say, be diligent in preparing yourself and your family for anything that can happen. Mm-hmm. If you do need to know about being a business owner, starting a business, or how to brand your brilliance, you can find me at. And on February 22nd, I'll be at the Fly Money Club talking about how to brand your brilliance.
I can't wait, Dr. Lene. It's gonna be so good, y'all. This is a really great conversation. Marlo, give us your final thoughts. I love all of you guys' perspective. And so just from a woman, of your knowledge and your brilliance and coming from where you're coming from, I love your worldly perspective on how this all will affect us as Black people. What are your final thoughts?
So I want to piggyback on what both Dr. Alicia and Dr. Lene said, which one, research, right? When you see one of these, Donald Trump did XYZ and it triggers you, let it trigger you to Google. Let it trigger you to research. Let it trigger you to go and read and digest what this is without a media narrative, without your friend who's screaming the sky is falling, without, some meme joke that kind of waters down what's really going on. Get into how this policy is going to affect you. Don't be looking up saying, oh my God, where'd this come from? Because it's here now. The other part is preparation. Be prepared for what the known knowns and the known unknowns, right? Like the Boondocks character said. Be ready so that my dad used to say you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Be prepared for what you know. Be prepared for what you don't know, and teach yourself something. Every day be trying to learn something. Every day try to figure it out. This Republic of the United States is our thing. If you want to go somewhere else, go live there. I'm not leaving. So we need to learn how it works. And we need to learn how to navigate it because it's not really set up for us to win. And we know that. But it doesn't mean you have to lose, right? You just have to prepare to play the game. If you're looking for me, I am Marlo Layson. I create content under my name. You can search for things I've written. I write about policy and legal, environmental, entertainment news. And you can find me on Instagram over Marlo. That's my name right there on the screen. And as usual, this is my favorite midday thing to do.
Yo, guilty pleasure. I love it. So I'll say this, Black people, we have been in a slumber. We've been asleep for the last 50 years. We really have been asleep. And do you know, as I do these Black History Month videos that I do every day, and I'm doing my research just on us and our resilience, we prospered the most under the most atrocious circumstances. That's when we prospered the most. Right after the Civil War, we had 19 million acres of land. Now I think we have maybe 2 million as a collective of Black people, right? We have more houses than we have land. Or maybe it was 90 million. It was something crazy. While white people have hundreds of millions of acres of land, and so we don't have the same collective wealth, even though we have some really wealthy people. But what we do have is we have more educated people. We have people who are more educated than they've ever been in the history of the world, I think, or the history of this country, at least. So I think we have the great equalizer. We have the knowledge and information. We have people, we have thought leaders. We have broadcasts like this that are here to give you information. Okay. We have money. We have to, I'll say it all day, start doing business with people who look like you. So when we look at other communities, we learn from other communities. Other communities says, look, I'm only going to do business with people from my community. I'm Jewish. I will not do business with anybody outside of my Jewish community, if only if I can no longer find anybody in my community to do business with. That's one thing. We got to start doing business with each other. Number two is we got to become insulated by educating ourselves on financial literacy. Get your financial IQ together. Start, getting into collectives and investing and taking training and just immerse yourself in Google and get as much knowledge and information as you can. Because with everything that's coming down the pipe, it's designed specifically, Black people, to affect you. And I think they've underestimated us this time. That we have more brilliance, we have more guns. Y'all get your guns too. We have more protections than I think than we've had, and we have more opportunities to be protected or to be insulated from things like Black Wall Street or the riots or the massacres that have happened in our communities throughout the years. So I think we should take this 4 years as a time to really get on our shit, because we've been asleep for the last 50 years thinking that these motherfuckers cared about us, and they absolutely do not. So now it's time to get to work, Black people. This right here, y'all see what's going on. Y'all got the information. Y'all got the knowledge. Don't just be hearers of the word. Be doers of the word. All right. So where can you find me? Everywhere. I am Constance Carter. Make sure you follow me. You follow all of these ladies from in Fly Nubian Money. Oh, Miss Marlo had to go. It's just me and you. So thank you guys. As always, you can always watch us every day, Monday through Friday, same time on Fly Nubian Queen and on all platforms that you see us on. And then remember, make sure you text word Queens to 87948. All right. Finally, we're on Spotify. So go to Spotify and find us. Look for Fly Nubian Money. And if you can't watch us live, you can go back and listen to us. Okay. So we're going to see you tomorrow. You ain't going to see me. You ain't going to see Dr. Alicia, but you're going to see everybody else tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. We love you. Peace out.
You know that 1 in 4 cowboys was Black? In fact, the Wild West was much more diverse than Hollywood would have you believe, so let's talk about it. First things first, the original cowboys were called vaqueros in then Spanish Mexico. You see, the cowboy lifestyle came to be in Texas, which at the time was Mexican territory, and although the Mexican government opposed slavery, Americans still brought enslaved people with them to the West and from there set up cattle ranches. These enslaved folks ended up accounting for over 30% of the Texas settler population and were dependent on for maintaining land and cattle herds. So, after the Civil War, freed Black cowhands were widely sought after because of their skills and actually vastly contributed to the development of the cattle industry. Ironically, even the term cowboy has a connection to formerly enslaved Black cowhands who were derogatorily named by their enslavers. So it makes it even more bizarre that we all know the stories of Billy the Kid or Jesse James, but not Nat Love or Bill Pickett. Vaqueros, Native Americans, and African Americans all contributed to the development of the American West, and the fact that that has been stripped from history is quite jarring, so perhaps it's time we put it back in the limelight.